Okay, so this is a video about Tai Chi Chuan. It's gonna cover a lot of misconceptions about Tai Chi is not for fighting. Tai Chi people get beat up. Tai Chi people learn something that's not useful at all. The old Kung Fu people who create Tai Chi is crazy. So a lot of these misconceptions within the Kung Fu community itself as to what Tai Chi is, and how to properly practice it and use it. The number one thing about Tai Chi Chuan that people have to realize is that Tai Chi I have to say one word, okay? People talk about the center of Chi. That stuff is just bogus, that stuff is bullshit. That, the creators of Tai Chi, they kind of, every single Kung Fu art pretty much in China has a lot of fake stuff that practitioners of Tai Chi kind of, not Kung Fu masters kind of throw in there to kind of trip up and confuse students that they themselves didn't have. Like, they don't want everyone to know this because it's bad if my opponent knows the same stuff I do. I want to keep it from him. So the very first big mystery of Tai Chi is Dantian. Dantian really, what it means in terms of theory is center of gravity. That's basically what it means. I don't really care what it means in Chinese, but in like your mind, when you think of Dantian, immediately you should think of center of gravity. And Tai Chi Chuan really is there to train an understanding of center of gravity. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you punch in boxing, okay, when you punch in boxing, someone who in the old days, not in the new days, because the new days they don't understand it, but someone in the old days who, for instance, if you're practicing Shaolin, or they're practicing weapons and spear, for instance, spear is very big in China. Just the double-ended, a double-ended sword, double-ended spear. There's the sword. All of these things. If you even think about it, right? The like if you really think about it, even in badminton, the way that they smash, it is up and then boom, they twist the dantian and put the dantian behind the hit. So really, it's in everything. This center of gravity. It's not something new that okay. So you've never been there. Now we're talking about it. No, it's something that's been there forever. And what dantian training? That's what Tai Chi is. Is dantian? There's a couple of things. First thing of Tai Chi is inner peace, right? You go in the forest, there's birds everywhere, there's sunlight, you practice your Tai Chi, help your mind stay calm. Other thing is, okay, you practice punching, you want to have the Tai Chi forms to help you flow. Right? So instead of going jab, 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 you're gonna go jab, boom, 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 boom. So you make it flow. And the reason you want to make it flow is because there's less change, right? So if I'm jabbing like really jerkily, then when I jab and I switch to something else, the acceleration is kind of very inefficient, right? I like to personally, what I believe, and this is something you don't have to, is that if I go smooth, my acceleration is gonna be more flowing. It's gonna, instead of having to stop and then come back, I'm gonna be going 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees. So that's another reason of Tai Chi Chuan, is to kind of give you a form that you can use in anything, right? You don't have to take Tai Chi and use it in fighting Tai Chi style. You don't have to take Tai Chi and use it in fighting boxing. You can use Tai Chi and you use it for, you know, badminton, for instance. It sounds crazy, but you know, the flowing form. If you practice Tai Chi a lot, you can actually, go over into badminton, right? Because the badminton really is beautiful form. Is the same thing. It's the same mindset. Making it beautiful in Tai Chi, making it beautiful in badminton is a very similar type of application. But the real application that we have to talk about is the application of center of gravity. Tai Chi is meant to help you understand your center of gravity. Do you know what I'm saying? So, if you put someone on a boxing bag, okay, it doesn't mean they're gonna understand center of gravity right away, right? And they're gonna jab, they're gonna hook, so let's have a mind experiment. Okay, I'm gonna have a guy. He's pretty smart. He's pretty smart. He's never fought before, and I'm gonna just put him on the bag and say punch it in a way that you think is gonna hurt the opponent, right? So he's gonna throw probably this type of punch, this type of punch. He might stand like this, boom, boom, boom. He might stand like this, boom, 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 whatever. But the thing is, he's not gonna automatically start thinking about, oh, how I put my weight into it until very far off into the practice. Right? He's gonna notice that, oh, I have to put my weight into it. Because if there's no coach telling you that, you don't know. Right? Actually, it's very late for them to know that, oh, I have to put my weight into it. But eventually, when they try to punch hard, they're gonna try to use their arm. But when they punch hard, eventually they're gonna try to use their whole weight. So Tai Chi, really, all these movements, they're for you to, first of all, develop muscle. So when you move your center of gravity, a certain set of muscles gets activated. If you focus on the movement of the center of gravity itself, which you do not get if you're punching a bag boxing style, or if you're kickboxing, or if you're doing Muay Thai. You have to use certain ways of training. And that involves practicing Tai Chi until you get the forms right and you know how to shift your weight in the way that your center of gravity gets incorporated. And then you have to go take a big pull. That's what they do. They take a big pull and then they do things like this. Okay? And they shake the pull. Shake the pull. And that is how they incorporate the muscle. At the attack. The muscle that moves the pull. And the pull, when it gets moved, the muscle is trained that way. But that's only after you know how to move your body. Okay, that's how you after you move how to move your body in the way that your center of gravity gets activated. Okay, so boom, boom. Because it's not enough push up, pull up, crunch. It's not enough to train the muscles that control your center of gravity. It's not enough. They're not gonna crunch. So a lot of fighters, they're very used. They have it automatic. Okay, so you look around. A lot of boxers are so jerky, right? They're like boom, boom, boom. They're awkward. Some fighters, they have it automatically. They have that smooth click. It's a click, right? But Tai Chi allows you to learn that click. And so, I'm not saying go to a Tai Chi teacher, because nowadays you have to understand that a lot of Tai Chi is watered down. It's not real. A lot of Tai Chi nowadays is all just, oh, okay, I'm gonna go in the park and I'm gonna go with my old friends. I'm gonna do Tai Chi and that's gonna be our exercise. But if you want to learn Tai Chi to actually help you fight, you have to really just go with a couple of your friends and study tape. Study the forms. I'm not gonna say I know them because I don't look at the forms. I kind of know stuff off the top of my head. So you have to kind of look at the forms and kind of analyze. Okay, what is the form I feel? Feel not in your arms. This is just to help you. right? This is the most natural way to help you move. You help this way. Because when you move your arms, it causes your center to move. Alright, you do these things and you feel in your center of gravity, how does my center move? That's why you must do it slow. You have to understand, how does my center move? How can I get it to move like that? And then you take the pole and you move like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So first comes, I move with my arms to move the weight. I move with my arms to move my center of gravity that way, right? So if I'm here, I do this. You know, I can feel it, right? So you feel the movement. You feel the movement of your center of gravity. Okay? And once you can do that, if you're gonna be fighting, you take a long, huge pole, a huge branch, anything, and you hold it in two hands, and then you move it the same way, and you're gonna build muscle that way. So that's very useful because now you have, a muscle that moves your center of gravity, right? You have a muscle that moves it. So this is a very big, important thing because even that little bit of muscle that you're gonna earn is really gonna help you punch with a lot more force, right? Just that little muscle is gonna help you punch with more force. So I think I said pretty much everything. Also, like, if you're gonna learn the entire form from a teacher, just go ahead and go in there, but just ignore what they say because a lot of teachers, they don't know what they're saying, right? They don't know the actual art. The actual art is meant to train you to understand all the different ways that you can move your dantian. The 108 forms, after you learn them, however many, you will learn how to move your dantian in every single way, every single possible iteration. So every single possible iteration of the form itself each one gives you a way to move your center of gravity. And what should happen is you're gonna know every single way to move your center of gravity, or you can improvise new ways. You know it so well that you can improvise. So then when you start to train your muscle, you're gonna know how to activate those muscles. See this? If I do this, like it's almost like Shakira stuff, like when she goes like that, right? That's crazy stuff. That's crazy level. You can't get to that level that Shakira, right? When she goes hips to line, you don't know that she's activating her core muscles so much. So if she was a boxer, Shakira, she would be a great boxer because she would be able to activate her core in that way, and this is gonna generate power. You can't do that right off the bat without training in Tai Chi Chuan. You can't do that. You can't do that. I can't do that. So you have to go and you have to train Tai Chi. Because Tai Chi, the hand movements, the leg movements, when they go like this, that is not for kicking. Okay, Tai Chi doesn't have kicks, as far as I can tell. They think, oh yeah, no, it's to help you develop your core. Because Tai Chi, so here's the thing. Boxing exists now. Boxing existed before too. So it's not anything new. How you have same 2 arms, 2 legs. So yeah, that's it pretty much. That's all I have to say. Anything if I'm missing anything? Yeah. So Tai Chi Chuan, this. Oh yeah, and those people who are like online and they're like, oh, I know Tai Chi and I'm gonna use, because you cannot. Tai Chi is an internal art because it trains the internal stuff. It's like it's like the internal. How do you explain this? It's like when you have a lion, a tiger, okay, they have their internal muscles, which they train perfectly because that's how they grow up. That's how lions and tigers. But we as humans, we're made different. We have to use certain arts, to our advantage. And then we have weapons too. We can create when we have a spear, that's the weapon. When we have a double-ended spear, that's the weapon. When we have Muay Thai, that's the weapons, 8 limbs. Shins, arms, I don't elbows. Let me see. This. Yeah, legs, shins. Whatever. Okay, so Muay Thai, not good at math, but the Muay Thai is 8 limbs. Okay, so you have those weapons. When you go boxing, you have 2 weapons. These are the weapons that you use. But Tai Chi Chuan is so useful because as long as you're a human being, there is a dantian on you. There is a center of gravity. And don't talk about chi stuff. Don't talk about chi and energy and the theory of energy is there as a way of kind of explaining to you the flow of things. It's a fake idea that you keep in your head to explain to you the flow, right? If I just talk to you about you have to go from left to right versus I talk to you about the energy needs to flow from left to right, as soon as you think of the idea of energy and chi, as soon as you think of those, the creators of this stuff, they know exactly what they're talking about, but they're kind of shifting things to make the students understand better. Do you get what I'm saying? So only the top students they're gonna explain in a detail afterwards. But for the beginning students, for instance, if you're a kid, how do you feel this flow, right? How can you feel this flow? How can I feel this, this flow, and how can I practice? They tell them energy. This is the energy in the air. This is the energy in your body, and the kid can feel that, and they can understand. Oh, okay, that feels like energy. So energy is going. Really, it's not a real thing, right? There's no such thing as energy in our body and chi and whatever. But there is, a way to explain things to make it easier to understand. So that's what it is. And so that's what I have to say is that, Tai Chi Chuan, some people think it's not legit. Really, it is if you train it properly, and which is something that has been lost for so long because for so long people haven't been training it properly, right? So, you have to really train it properly as something to train your center of gravity, your dantian. You have to use the pole to train the muscles that control your center of gravity, your dantian. Really, this is gonna be really useful. It trains like your lower core. Should train your lower core and your lower back a lot. These muscles get engaged and they really move. It trains like your hip movement, which is really difficult to like practice even, right? They have ways right now to practice those things, right? When you're a boxer, you go the hip thrust and the deadlift. Those things do the same thing, but the way of the Tai Chi is actually, I believe, is better. So that's what I have to say. All right, thank you guys. Just